1996.
Oh my gosh. What? Hey, let's give it up right here. This is my guy. Yes. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, gratitude is a skill, guys. But if you practice, it will give you a joyful life regardless of your circumstances.
My goal on TV was to bring a smile to everybody's face.
Grounded with eyes. That's just fair inside of third. McLean through second. Wave is on. It was bobbled by Happ. McLean coming home to tie it. The throw, he's saved. De La Cruz backside. Smartly takes third. Sent to right center. That's down for a hit. Fraley scores. Left on left. TJ Friedel has the Reds ahead 3-2.
Well, I take pride in being who I am because I am who I am. I'm recognizing as I look around that there isn't a lot of who I am. I take great pride in that.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Good afternoon, Alan Cutler here. Honored and pleased to be with you. Thank you for joining us, whether it's live now or somewhere tonight on podcast or tomorrow morning. And if you're in your truck, driving some goods that we need in this country, any state, thank you. So let's dissect the couple of clips that you heard. That was the Reds down 2-1, came back to beat the Cubs, who are having a spectacular season, 59-54. So are the Reds. They won 3-2. And my man McLean, I know he's only batting .225, but as Alan Stein pointed out yesterday, and I've pointed out many times, he's increased his batting average tremendously. Jimmy, I don't know the exact date, but it wasn't that long ago when he was batting 170, and I love him. I absolutely love him. I know he struck out twice yesterday, and he walked, but he hustles. He plays great defense, and I'm telling you, that batting average will be much, much higher over the next 4 or 5 years. It's going to be. It's absolutely going to be. It's interesting how he's taken off. And as far as Friedel, he just won an award. Jimmy, I didn't even know there was such a thing. He won the Heart and Hustle Award in Major League Baseball for the Reds. So the way I'm looking at this, they must have one person nominated for each team, and he's the one. And it's justified. I mean, the way he hustles and stuff like that. To Lodolo, it's interesting. Matt, if you're in your car, as you're going to Pittsburgh, I was listening to you today. Man, you got to learn something about baseball. I mean, seriously. I don't know why, he says. I don't know why. In today's world, there's such things as blisters. It's just ridiculous. So Lodolo pitched 1 2/3. Blisters are a problem. Max Fried of the Yankees had a blister problem, and you know what? He hasn't been the same since. No matter what you do, gripping the baseball is huge. Now, when you're not pitching, and Jimmy, you know this, maybe you can explain this to Matt, you know this, that you can put different things on your hands and stuff like that. When I was a child, Nolan Ryan, it was a huge deal in New York. He used to dip his hands in pickle brine, and they say it's great if you have a cold. Pickle brine is supposed to be really good for you and really healthy. I do a lot of health stuff. That one I haven't done yet, but I know some people who swear that pickle brine is really good for your health. And it really makes sense, but I'm not going into it and why. And so I don't doubt that Lodolo has been doing some things to help his hands when you don't see him and I don't see him. And once it gets loose, it gets loose. And as it gets warmer, you have more of an indication that there'll be these blisters. You're gripping the baseball hard, and you're snapping it off, and you might be throwing it 90 times a game, so it affects it. Now, what Lodolo did was smart because he's been there before. Lesson learned, don't pop your blister. So he knows that the last time he popped his blister, it took longer to heal. So what he did was smart, and sometimes pitchers can be, I'm not saying they're stupid, but they want to play so much they don't want to tell the skipper. They don't want to tell, the trainer, and it's the wrong thing to do. It's not a time to be macho. And so by saying, I can't do it now, the blister didn't pop, and they can work on it, and I have no idea if he's going to get his next start. But there's something about the looseness of your skin. They do things, again, when we're not around. And it hurt the Reds because Lodolo's been great. I mean, his ERA is 3.05. In spite of that, you would think that the Reds were in trouble. And here's what I really don't get. Nick Martinez back to the bullpen. This made no sense to me by Tito. I mean, none. Okay, he pitched 2 innings, but Jimmy, he's a starter. who went back to the pen. What happened over the weekend? Saturday night at the racetrack in Bristol, because Chase Burns can only throw one inning this weekend, their bullpen got used like crazy. And so once I saw that Martinez went in the game, I went, Tito's being smart. Look, Tito's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and I love him, and it's great he's Cincinnati. But he does things that just scratch your damn head. Jimmy, when your bullpen is burned out, why would you not say to Martinez, go as long as you can? Maybe he gives you 6 innings. He's done it many times as a starter. Now, all of a sudden, you're in the 7th and 8th inning, and you can what? Save your bullpen a little bit. It was baffling. You got a guy that's a starter who was just put in the pen, and he only used him for 2 1/3. Now, he didn't pitch well. Maybe that was part of it. Gave up a couple runs, couple hits. The runs were earned. Gave up a home run. Maybe that's why he took him out. But you can also say, hey, I need to save the bullpen. Really, I just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. But, I thought it was a pretty big win for the Reds. Only one game. I get it, but they're in Chicago. Chicago, I thought they'd be good this year. I had no idea they'd be 65-47. None. Actually, I could see them having maybe 59-60 wins, something like that. So they've exceeded what I saw, and I saw what they had on paper, but they really hitting the ball much better. Point is this, the Reds tease you. They're a big tease. But when you're in Chicago and you're up 1-0, then you're down 2-1, and then you score the next 2 runs, and after the third inning, Cubs didn't score a run with that offense, that's a hell of a win. It really is. That's a hell of a win. But burning the bullpen out because of the stupid rain delay and how they did it, and Chase Burns couldn't, pitch more than an inning. I get it. You can't bring him back. That's just baseball and taking care of guys. It's the proper thing to do in today's world. I get it. Why would you burn your bullpen out again yesterday? It's baffling. And tomorrow's an afternoon game. So they're getting less rest. That's just the way it is. Jimmy, I don't get it. Do you see the logic where I'm coming from? You got Martinez. He's been a starter. His arm is good to be a starter. He's been lengthened out as a starter, and you only pitch him 2 2/3. But anyway, Lodolo, now we don't know if he can't start or will start his next start. Who knows? We'll find out. But I tell you, you don't mess with blisters. You don't mess. And they do all kinds of things, shaving things off, this, He's going to be getting treatment every day. Will it work? Have no clue. Okay, so I'm excited about the Reds. Every pitch you can hear on 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. They're a tease. That's what they are. They're a big Tease. The soundbite was from Pete. Big Pete. Jimmy, you will be the official person because I'm so incompetent when it comes to first names and pronouncing it incorrectly. How do you pronounce his first name?
I believe it's Shy as Pete.
It is like shy and as. Shy as Pete. I wonder if he's going to be the most interviewed offensive lineman in the Southeastern Conference. I wonder. He's the most interesting. I'll tell you what, this will sound ridiculous to some. Jimmy, you can grab the mic and say what I'm about to say is ridiculous, all off the cuff. He'd make a great politician. Why? He's smart, has common sense, he cares, and can make really good decisions. I'm getting help on text messages. Shy as. It's shy as. Is that right? Okay, it's shy as. I don't think I can.
Say?
I don't know what you said, but I know I said it wrong.
I thought I said Shy as Pete.
Well, maybe I said it wrong. I'll get another text if I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait till the commercial break later and try to practice it. And this person who's texted me, I bet is laughing their fanny off at me. And by the way, this person knows. This is terrible. It's radio going all across the country, different parts of the world. And I'm looking at messages because I'm being laughed at. I deserve to be laughed at. Okay, Jimmy, I'll give you the hint and we'll go back to it. This is what I'm told. You ready for this? Help me, Jimmy. I need your help. I need your help now more than ever. Make a great song. It's like massage with an S.
Shiaz.
That's it. Shiaz. Shiaz. We're going with that, and I'll bet I get another text message. If it's wrong, I take the blame. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Just got a 3-letter message. You ready, Jimmy? The message says, yup. Shiaz, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the 5th time just since we started the show that you should see my notes. No, 6. Jimmy, you can't see my notes. I know we're on YouTube. Can you see my notebook? That's pretty silly. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done it 6 times, and only the last time did I do it right. Spelling it out phonetically. Thank you, Deep Throat. Okay, so Shiaz Pete. Now, it's interesting how he stands there, the mountain man that he is, and he will often have his hands behind him when he respectfully and thoughtfully answers questions. And so I don't know this young man. I've never talked to him, but I am really good at reading eyes. And I think there were a couple of times he was baffled at the direction of a question and still answered it anyway and did a really good job. It was kind of like, why are you sort of asking me this question in this way? I would say suspicious is too strong of a word, and I don't want to be negative where he was coming from. He's probably been interviewed as many times in the last week as he was last year at New Mexico State. I'm going to guess that. If not, it's pretty close. This is Kentucky. This is not New Mexico State. It's a different world. And by the way, he is handling himself in a spectacular fashion. And so one of the reporters in kind of a gang situation asked what I thought was a fair question. And he basically said, hey, you said your mother taught you all these things about how to handle yourself properly and how you are as a person. And the question is kind of why. So then the question was, well, tell me about your mother. And he answered, in this part we didn't put on the clip because it was about 10, 15 seconds before it would have gone too long. He said, I had a really good mother. And then he starts describing his mother, which I thought was really powerful and really nice. And Jimmy, this is clip number 1.
She likes art and makes her very artistic. And she's very purposeful. And she respects herself quite a lot.
How does she instill that in you?
Well, she tells us to be purposeful in everything we do, have intention in everything we do, because our world is interconnected, interwoven. Everything happens for a reason, I'd argue. So you must move accordingly.
Jimmy, that's a really good soundbite, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to be goofy here and say I want to vote for him to be president. Let's not get silly now. But as far as him understanding right from wrong and doing things the right way and understanding that you have to work hard to get somewhere, this kid is an A+++++++++. A couple of weeks ago, when I started really talking a little bit more about Seth McCowan, the running back who's coming in, who I think is going to be studly, and I was surprised, and I mentioned it after Stoops said it because he doesn't usually do this kind of thing, and he called him a big-time player. Now, we all know how close to the vest as Stoops can be. So when you are close to the vest and you make that kind of comment, it sticks out. Not like a sore thumb, but like a beautiful thumb. I kind of went, whoa. And I had said before Stoops made that comment, and I was really surprised he said it, because he downplays everything, even though I like this team and all that kind of stuff, that kind of thing, that just because Stoops had a couple bad years in a row, that doesn't mean you shouldn't trust his judgment when he's checking players out, since he's made more of an emphasis in checking players out. And it's not just him. Bulwer was there, Oklahoma, when he was there, okay? And he was the running back coach, and Boulware is trusted big time, as he should be, on Stoops' staff, plus, Stoops' brother and people he knows in Oklahoma and that kind of stuff. And I honestly believe that they checked this kid out incredibly so. I mean, the kid was in jail, okay, made an horrendous mistake, okay? It's probably going to be brought up way too much, and at a certain point, you don't bring it up because the kid's got to move on. But this kid has been so transparent and knows how lucky he is because he could have ended up in jail for a long, long time. This is a second chance. And I really like, and we might play some sound today from him, I really like how he handles himself. He's not BS. He doesn't hide from it. He just says what he went through and whatever. Now, it's a beautiful thing that McCowan and Shiaz, did I say that right? I did say that right. Shiaz.
Massage.
Shiaz. If Deep Throat is still lifting, he's really. I have this. You've noticed this, Jimmy, in almost 3 years of being together, that I have this thing with names. And I had it a little bit early on in my broadcasting career, very little. And as I got old and older, it's just, I don't know if it's a brain thing or something like that. Shiaz. I got it right. The fact that Pete and McCowan were in the same place and they became good friends could only help Seth McCowan. It's the company you keep. And when you listen to Pete talk about him, which you can't see, but you could probably feel it across your radio or listening online or on podcasts, however you're doing it, on the ESPN Sports Lexington app, Pete is smiling. Pete really likes Seth. Pete is just rooting for Seth like crazy. And Pete is really excited about what he can do on the field. But this is it's one of the best comments of everything that's come out in the last week or so. He is close with Seth McCowan, the running back, and here's Pete on Seth.
Him and I worked really well together in New Mexico State. We handled our business. I really like his work ethic. He's a man who has one speed, and it's incredibly fast. You can see it in the way he moves, his demeanor. It's like he craves being more than he actually is, and that transcendence is something I also chase. He's a good example of what work ethic looks like, being a hard worker and not just working hard. He's a hard worker in that regard. I can't wait to open holes for him.
Can't wait to open holes for him. Pretty good. Jimmy, would you say that's a soundbite that's at least a 9?
Yeah, if I'm a running back and I hear my lineman say that about me, I mean, that's got to give you all the confidence.
Really does. And I've been saying this, they will be much better at running back, not just because of McCowan, but they're much deeper. And two of the young guys last year who saw flashes are now a year older, and they're stronger and more mature, plus a daddle kid who came here from Nebraska. I'm not ready to say this is the deepest set of running backs that Stoops has had. I need to see more. But, Jimmy, I got to tell you, you got at least 4 guys that I could name that in a lot of years would get significant carries. I think that's pretty good. I think it's really good. Jimmy, we're going to jump to clip number 5. And this is a soundbite that's also a 9+, talking about the bonding with the offensive
line. It's incredibly important. We are all coming in from different places. That makes it a melting pot. It's actually been quite fulfilling because everyone is coming from different spots, so it's nice to know everyone's stories. Everyone here is rather unique. We operate in our own, each unique way, if that makes sense, but together, obviously.
Together, obviously. The goal is, so he says, to have a dominant physical line. It's kind of an interesting question. What do you hope to accomplish at the University of Kentucky?
What can we accomplish? Perhaps granting the Wildcat name some respect.
And how so?
By continuing to grow together, come together as a unit, march in a general direction, climb a mountain together. That's how.
Climb the mountain together. Clip number 7. Obvious question. I really like the answer. What is the key to winning?
It's about falling in love with the process, I'd have to say. Being able to find absolute joy in doing the mundane over and over again without expecting any instant gratification, fully knowing, committing yourself, sacrificing yourself to a greater cause, knowing it's for a greater cause. That's what gets me through a lot of stuff. Or sets the basis, sets the groundwork that's what it takes. Being good at something isn't attractive. It's dirty, ugly work done in the dark for days, weeks on end. That's what it takes. And then once you know that, once you've wrapped your head around that, everything else kind of is insignificant, if that makes sense. Any issue, any obstacle, you can cut right through.
All of that screams offensive line, does it not?
Yes, offensive line is very, very blue collar, hard hat, lunch pail work.
Wow. Have you ever heard a football player talk about work like that?
The way he puts things is just so profound. Might be too strong of a word. But
No. I think profound is the perfect word, actually.
Yeah, and maybe it's just his tone and the way he delivers. It makes it sound more profound. That it's so measured and calm when he's speaking such big, great words for someone who's just a college lineman.
Now, I'm going to agree with you. His pausing as he really measures his words, do I think it makes it more powerful, which is what you're saying? Yes. I think that only amplifies what he's doing, though. I mean, he just uses words and vocabulary that are a little different. I'm not going to say unusual. I don't like the word unusual. I'll still use it, but I don't like it because then you think it's not the norm. Well, everybody's got their own norm. That's kind of how I've changed since I've gotten serious about meditating. When somebody says, that person is weird. Well, is it? Or that person just doesn't do what you do or how you like to do it. And then the word weird has a negative connotation. I can't stand it. It's just interesting how I've changed since retiring from TV. Can't stand it. Some of my former bosses will be glad I'm retiring because as much as I snap back, I'd probably snap back some more calmly, maybe a little calmer, but I would snap back some of the stupidity in television. And there's great things in television. Let me not digress anymore. Okay. Last one from, should I do it? Shiaz? I've got it, don't I? I got it. Jimmy, if I ever don't have it again, I want you to just interrupt me. Shiaz Pete. I hope I never get it wrong again. And if you're laughing at me out there, I don't blame you. I'm not doing it on purpose. I have strengths. I have weaknesses. I expose both on this show. Okay, last clip. Clip number 8. What Shiaz Pete sees, and this is really big, Jimmy, I want you to tell me if you think, I have trouble figuring out what's the best soundbite in this whole section. Seriously. There's like 4 or 5 legitimate candidates. It's like boom, 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 boom. They're so close. This is another one. What Shiaz thinks and sees from this year's football team.
Hunger, obviously to put in the work, to see their work pay off. And wanting to crave a deeper sense of community, perhaps. That's an interesting question too. Can you rephrase it?
So much revolves around winning.
Yeah.
And last year this team did not win. What tells you this team may be a surprise to those who already are saying they can't do this?
Well, we do have a lot of guys here, a lot of depth, especially within our room, a lot of experience, and a lot of people coming in from different places. It adds a lot of knowledge. It's a big database full of people who, have the tools, the knowledge, have seen the standard, been a part of it. That's very important. To have all sorts of perspectives, everyone tackling it from different angles, in order to come to a common goal, a common objective.
That's really, really good. You have a favorite soundbite, Jimmy? I can't pick. I really can't pick. I think there's so many wonderful soundbites that Shiaz is talking about life and what he stands for and where he comes from. I mean, he is a born leader. To that, I give tons of credit to his mom and dad.
My personal favorite was the one before this one about falling in love with the process. That, to me, is what makes the difference between a great football player and then a great pro, is you fall in love with the process, because it is so much more than just playing on Saturdays or Sundays. You have to genuinely love the process of it, the work through, the game planning and all of it to be truly successful. The ones who don't, those are the ones I feel like, to me, that flame out, is you don't get into the nitty-gritty and fall in love with it.
There are those that practice, and there are those that practice. He's one that practices. And that is the difference between oftentimes winning and losing. It really is. I don't know why I'm thinking about Wayne Gretzky, and a lot of superstars have said the same things. When these guys decide to retire, one of the reasons why they decide to retire is they still love playing the games. They still love being in the locker room and that kind of stuff, but they didn't want to prepare. They got tired of preparing. And Gretzky understood, like so many others, if you really don't want to prepare, well, then you're going to embarrass yourself. You're getting older, that kind of stuff. Things are slipping. If you really don't want to prepare, guess what? Then it's time to hang it up. And what is Pete talking about? How he loves, and he thrives on practice and doing it properly. Really good stuff. Kendrick Haskins is coming up next. He's on time, thanks to the Louisville football program getting done and getting his interviews. We'll talk about that and all kinds of other stuff. I want to talk about my fast, friendly service friends at Quantrill, the Quantrill Auto Group. Check them out. Quantrill Subaru, Quantrill Cadillac, Quantrill Volvo. And the Quantrill Auto Group has been taking care of folks in Central Kentucky for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. I trust them. We've purchased 2 cars for them. This month only, take advantage of special event pricing when trading up to any new Cadillac. Don't miss your chance to secure the best deal on your upgrade. And their experienced finance team works hard to approve more buyers, including those with bad credit. Take advantage of their subprime financing and find your next vehicle today. Quantrill Volvo, Quantrill Cadillac, Quantrill Subaru. I trust them. Also trust the guest coming up next. Kendrick Haskins, Sports Director of Wave TV. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Lexington, it's time to feel the warmth and spread the love in a brand new Subaru from Quantrill Subaru. This is Alan Cutler, and you can feel good about working with the Quantrill family for your next Subaru, because not only do we get the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks, but for decades, the Quantrill family of dealerships has donated to over 50 local charities and events. So, play as hard as you work. Go where you've never been and keep it local at Quantrill Subaru. QuantrillSubaru.com.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
It's summertime, and that means it's time to hit the road.
Whether you're heading across town or across the state, going on a picnic, to a baseball game, or driving to the lake, stop by, fill up, and stock up at Clark's Pump and Shop, your road trip headquarters.
Clark's Pump and Shop has everything you need to get you to your summertime destination, including assorted Jolly Rancher or Twizzler peg bags, 2 for $5, and Jack Link's 2-ounce steak strip or extra large beef and cheese, 2 for $6.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM, now finishing his responsibilities as the lovable, did I call you lovable? Boy, I lie a lot. The lovable sports director of Wave TV in Louisville, always with a shiny head, my dear old friend, Kendrick Haskins. Hello, Kendrick. How are you, brother?
What's going on, AC?
I'm just goofing. All right. Give me a little Louisville knowledge here. So, they're going to win 10 games this year?
They could. It'll be a stretch because, I mean, they have Miami and Clemson on the schedule. Both crazy thing is those are their two biggest games in conference of the season, and they're both on Friday nights, which is odd. But they could win 10. It's going to the tricky game is, of course, always the Kentucky game, regardless of what's going on, and playing at Virginia Tech. I think that's going to be a very difficult game because Virginia Tech, you never know what you're going to get when you go there. And so I think, and then they also play at Pittsburgh, which has been a bugaboo for them for years. So those two games could be the two games, along with Miami and Clemson, that could prevent them from winning 10 games.
You going to cover the game in Pittsburgh?
No. Go up to Cutlerville? No way.
I was going to say, is it Pomani's, the restaurant? Have you ever eaten the sandwich that's about a foot high? I think I pronounced it wrong the last time. I'm having a hell of a day with pronunciations. If you ever go there, I'll get the name of the restaurant, unless you haven't been there. Dude, you got to eat a sandwich there. You almost can't finish it, and don't eat the entire day when you go there. It's a famous place.
That sounds like a plan. But you know how local TV is. We most likely won't go to a road game.
Yeah, the world has changed, hasn't it? So, okay, it's an unfair question. If Kentucky played in the ACC and Louisville played in the SEC, how much different would their records be? I mean, can Kentucky be the third or fourth best team in the ACC?
No, I wouldn't put them. They're definitely not going to be ahead of Miami and Clemson.
Right.
And then they have SMU. Surprisingly, they have Louisville fifth, which being behind SMU, I don't understand why they were picked behind Georgia Tech.
You know, and I thought that Louisville would be fourth, so I'm with you on that. I can't think of the Georgia Tech's name, the coach, but he's done a hell of a job. He really has.
He really has. But like Louisville handled them last year.
I know.
And I think they lost their quarterback, who was pretty good last year. So, he must be coming back for them to rank them ahead of Louisville. But as that one, Georgia Tech kind of confuses me. But after that, I would put Kentucky behind Louisville. And so now, if they were to switch, I'd put them about the same where I put Kentucky where Louisville is. As far as Louisville in the SEC, maybe a little higher than where Kentucky is, but not much.
It's the SEC.
Right.
You know, I have this thing. I don't want to hear anybody really say, well, Kentucky has a tough schedule. It's the freaking conference. You don't like it, go play in the ACC. You don't like it, go play in the Big East where they don't play football. I mean, seriously, I am so sick and tired. Oh, they have such a tough schedule. Well, then get the hell out of the league. Quit complaining. You know, they're not the only school with a very tough schedule in the conference. Now, there are some schools that have easier schedules. Okay, it's a fluctuating thing. You know that. You've been doing this for 1,000 years. But I'm so sick and tired. They'd be so much better if they didn't have such a tough schedule. What in the hell is the schedule not tough? And in years that they've played cupcakes, they're 3-0. And then they haven't hit anybody. Now they play somebody for real, and they ain't ready for it because they didn't have to, strain and have such effort. So it's a bunch of bad. Stop with the schedule. I don't want to hear that they have a tough schedule. I just don't want to hear it. Then get the hell out of the league or shut up.
Right. And this league is going to be what it is. And let's be honest. They had years where they could have made some headway in the league, and they didn't. And so there's that part of it too. Because Florida was down for a while. South Carolina, you never know what you're going to get from South Carolina. But, Vanderbilt was still Vanderbilt. And you could have made some headway. Tennessee had its down years. And Kentucky was higher up in the conference, but, they weren't competing for the SEC championship game. So, they had their opportunities. It's just a hard conference.
Okay. It's a
hard
hard
conference already. And then you factor in the recruiting aspect of it, where Kentucky, the state of Kentucky, is not producing as many as high caliber recruits as Florida or Georgia. Yeah, you're up against the A-ball every time you step onto the field.
Okay, so I look at it this way. Derek Dooley is no longer coaching at Tennessee. And the reason why I thought of him, I forgot how bad his record was, honestly. And it was really bad in conference play. He's running for office in Georgia to save the people or something like that. And so they had his record there in Tennessee. Okay, if Dooley goes back and coaches Tennessee, there's no question that Stoops, if he gets it back together, and I think he will, but we will see. But they have a tough schedule. I just want you to know they have a tough schedule. If Dooley goes back and coaches Tennessee, could Kentucky get ahead of them? Yes. Missouri changed to Drinkwitz, and all of a sudden they're much better because they got a better coach. Tennessee has a better coach. Vandy has a better coach. See, it's coaching, which can make a difference, and that's what's happened. This has been a league of great coaches, and I think this league right now, their coaches are about as good as they ever have been, and I don't think it's an accident.
And in both football and men's basketball.
Yes.
The coaching has been the difference in basketball by far. The coaching in the SEC basketball is the best there is in the country. And it's the same with football. The best coaches are in the SEC. So
you pay the most money.
Yeah, that part too. The SEC makes a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot, and I've seen it, but you'll know this top of your head. Just a close approximation of what Brom makes at Louisville. You've seen it. If you're off by $1 million, you can't be off by $5 million for this exercise that's ad lib. What would you guess he's making?
If I were to guess, whatever Stoops is making, I'd say Brom is just below that.
Oh, I think he's way below because it's the ACC. Hey, Jimmy, do me a favor. Would you look up Brom?
We got to win games, and he just signed an extension. So
yes, he did. Yes, he did. My point is this: if Louisville was in the SEC, Brom would be making a lot more.
Oh yeah, by far. And he may be making what the Vanderbilt coaches make.
Well, we don't know what the Vanderbilt coaches make because it's a private school,
right? Which I'm sure a lot of these coaches wishes that they were coaching at private school for that reason.
Let me tell you something. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, in 2023, he made $5 million, 24, 5-1. This year he's making 5.2, and in 2028, 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound about right?
Yep.
If he coached in the SEC, he'd be making $8 to $10 million a year.
And that would be the only reason why I think he would eventually leave Louisville if he were to leave, would be for that fact.
I'm going to disagree with you, and I don't know the man.
And
look,
I know Jeff a little bit. I'm not going to say we're like bosom buddies or anything like that.
Is he still driving
I've known
that?
him for a while.
I'm sorry for stepping on you. It makes for bad radio, and it's a bad habit. I was listening to somebody this morning, and all they were doing is stepping on each other. And then I realized at times when I do it, it's bad radio. So I humbly apologize, Mr. Haskins.
You apologize to me?
Yeah, and Jimmy's rolling tape too. So
this might be a year of firsts.
Now I lost my total train of thought about Brom.
Me doing that to you?
Yeah, you really did.
That ever happens.
You know what? We are now starting to be on YouTube. So if you want to join us, and if you could see Kendrick's smirk, he's going from ear to ear because have we been battling each other for 25 years?
And you know what? I'm like doing this, and I know we're on YouTube, so I'm trying to, because I just came back from football practice, so I'm trying to get hooked up with my laptop. So I'm like moving around, and I'm like, I'm a hot mess right now.
Okay, I was wondering what you're doing because it's going like crazy. Anyway, whatever the point of Brom of money, if he was coaching at Kentucky, he'd be making a lot more. Oh, this is where it is. Okay,
Yep.
And I don't know, Brom, is he still driving that car that's
Yes.
1,000 years old and does it have 200,000 miles on it?
Yes, he still has that Honda Accord.
Okay, and what year is it?
It is a 90. For some reason, 94 sticks out in my head. I could be wrong.
Okay, the point is this. The man's not motivated by money. He's got his whole family there. His brother is there. I really believe, for example, if Mississippi State would offer him $12 million a year, he would turn it down.
Probably, yeah, Mississippi State, yeah. It would have to be a Florida, Georgia, one of those to get him out of here, I think. As I said, his dad is on the sidelines at every practice and every game. His son's there. His daughters and his wife are at the games. Let's say Brian's on the coaching staff for now, even though I think Brian's going to get a head coaching job eventually. But Greg is around there running things or at practice and things like that. So, it's a total family affair here. And so it would take a lot more than just money to pry him out of Louisville.
Amen. As long as Louisville takes care of him, he's going to be the rest of his career. And
let's think. If he'd have stayed at Purdue, he'd probably be making more money.
Yeah, but you can't win at Purdue. And do you want to live in that town?
No.
I didn't say that. Kendrick did.
I've been to West Lafayette. No, I'm good.
You know what? I never covered a game there.
I've never covered a game. I actually interviewed for a job there, like fresh out of college.
You mean they have TV there?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Send the cards
it's still antennas, but
send the cards and letters to Wave TV. Okay. Jimmy, help me. Did I get this right? Shiaz Pete. Have you interviewed him when you came here? Have the big offensive lineman for Kentucky from New Mexico State, the young man who's part of the Navajo tribe. Have you talked to him or interviewed him?
No, we haven't talked to him yet because it was funny because we just got the offensive lineman today, but it wasn't him.
Okay, so trust me. Call Keith later today as Wave and LAX 18. We've traded for 1,000 years and get an interview. It is some of the best stuff. I tell you, I want to play one really good soundbite. We just played it. Jimmy, what bite did you like the best of the 8 clips we played?
The one of him talking about falling in love with the process. It was clip number 7.
Okay, let's play that. And I want you to listen to this. So, he's like 6'8" and 320 with less body fat in his body than I have my hand. He's a mountain man. He's really strong. He's a very, very, very prideful young man. Mm-hmm. And come on, Kendrick, you're like me. You've only listened to 1 million bites in your day, sound bites. I'm surprised retired sportscasters don't dream of sound bites because of all the stuff.
You and I are the same, that we hate all these media days and pre-season press conferences because it's all the same stuff.
Well, guess what? I didn't go. There's enough stuff online. I didn't want to be there for 8 hours anyway, because it's tough to do because there's so many people there, so they have to try to accommodate everybody, and that's nice. It really is, but it's just like, no, I got a computer. I'm good. So anyway, listen to the soundbite. And I'm being serious now, Kendrick. Listen to carefully, extra carefully, his words as he is going to be, I think, the most interviewed offensive lineman in the Southeastern Conference. Here it is.
It's about falling in love with the process, I'd have to say. Being able to find absolute joy in doing the mundane over and over again without expecting any instant gratification, fully knowing, committing yourself, sacrificing yourself to a greater cause, knowing it's for a greater cause. That's what gets me through a lot of stuff, or sets the basis, sets the groundwork. That's what it takes. Being good at something isn't attractive. It's dirty, ugly work done in the dark for days, weeks on end. That's what it takes. And then once you know that, once you've wrapped your head around that, everything else kind of is insignificant, if that makes sense. Any issue, any obstacle, you can cut right through.
All of that screams offensive line, does it not?
Yes, offensive line is very, very blue collar, hard hat, lunch pail work.
Is that a 10? Seriously.
Yeah, because that's somebody saying the right thing and it's not rehearsed. It's coming straight from the heart.
Yep. This kid talks from the heart. He is so prideful being part of the Navajo tribe and he wants to represent his tribe properly. And as he says, there's very few who are like me, so he feels a responsibility for kids to look up to that they can make it out as well. Now, he's like 6'8" or something like that. In high school, he had to play both ways. Can you imagine him not coming off the field playing both ways?
No. Can you imagine being some high school kid that's probably about 5'8" and 175 pounds? And you got to run up to that?
Well, you know, that old exercise of up downs, if I was across from him, I would just go down.
Right. I'm good. This is a business decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Jimmy, this is interesting that Kendrick somehow is on the laptop, and now I see your name on YouTube.
So go ahead, connect to that, and I'll disconnect on my phone.
Oh, you want to disconnect from your phone so we won't hear you for about 5 seconds?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's so low on my phone right now. It'll be a better experience on my computer.
Okay. The modern world of technology. Kendrick, give me a thumbs up when you're back in. As we're doing this on the fly, I think Kendrick's in his basement after going home from Louisville football, and he is back. This hurts, but you actually look better.
Yeah, I gotta look good for you, Alan.
I know. You, at your worst day, you're going to be looking better than me. You know that, and I know that. So
You
cut it
trimmed the
out.
beard a little bit, though. You look good.
Yeah, I did trim the beard. It was getting a little unruly.
Yeah.
Even for me, it wasn't at its worst. I've had it much, much, much worse. There's no question about it. Do you have any thoughts? C.L. Brown had a nice column today. I'd like to get him on the show. We'll see. I sent him a little note that he basically said, okay, and his analogy, I really like his analogy. Whether you agree or disagree with the column, I never cared. And a lot of people don't get it. I know you do. I'm looking for something that's written in a logical fashion because it'll make me think. And I still might not agree, but I want A to B going to C. If you can't get A to B going to C, even if I agree with C, but I don't like A and B, I think it's a lousy column. Yeah, you get it. I think the audience gets it. You know, show me some good writing. CL's a very good writer. I'm assuming he's turned down other places, but his logic was really good. Talking about how Mitch said, you know, we can't let the stadium run down, so we have to put all this money, as everybody knows. I forgot the total off the top of my head. It's not important, but they're putting tens of millions of dollars into the stadium to keep it up because they have to improve it and those kinds of things because you can't let it fall apart too much. Well, he's basically the same thing about the football program. That if Stoops can't have a winning season, then basically you have to be concerned that the thing is falling apart and you have to start anew. Whether you agree or disagree with it, the logic was terrific. My only problem with what he wrote is the buyout. Everybody says 37.5, and that's what the contract says. It's not 37.5. It's not, because you also have to buy out the assistants. It's over $40 million. And you can say, okay, Cutler, what's the difference between 37 million and 40? It's millions of dollars. It's still, you know, people say, well, just buy them out. Great. Well, how the hell are you going to pay for it?
And you got to pay for another coach, too.
Ah, amen. Was it Tennessee at one point was paying for 3 coaches at once? And I think Auburn, too.
Look at Louisville. I mean, Louisville was paying for Patino, and Mac.
Oh, that's right. You had the triple header, too. You had the trifecta, too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that was as high as the other two, but still was significant. It's still a lot of money. Unless this thing totally falls apart, I don't see buying them out. I don't know.
They
What do you
still have
think?
the trifecta because they're paying Kenny Payne too.
Oh, that's right.
I think they just paid off Bobby. Right now, I think it just might be 2. I think it's just Kenny and Chris Mack, maybe. 2 of them have come off the books.
I would also suggest, not knowing their contracts, most contracts are now done this. Well, excuse me. Let me start this again. All contracts used to be done this way. Now most are. So you're making $10 million a year, and there are contracts now that when the agent is really good, if I fire you and have to pay you $10 million, and you become an assistant for $2 million, well, that doesn't count against the $10 million if you're really good at negotiating the contract. I think Stoops has that, by the way, because he's got the best football agent in the country, neither here nor there. But there's a lot of jobs when you get fired, and let's say you're making $2.5 million, right? And your new job is for only $500,000. Well, they still owe you money, but instead of owing you 2.5, they only owe you 2. I would venture to say with at least some of the contracts that Louisville's paying off, they're not paying at full value.
I'm probably not. I want to say KP might be getting its full value. Because for one, if he wasn't, he wouldn't have taken that job at Arkansas. Because I mean, KP doesn't ever have to work again. I don't know why he is, to be honest with you. He just loves the game and he loves
the game, and he had other choices. I'll go one step further, and I know this is true. I fire you. I really like the sound of that.
You got so radiant when you said
that. I really did. I even surprised myself how much I enjoyed it. Folks, you got to understand that do we ever have a conversation that's sane when we're sitting on press row next to each other? No. So, okay. And I have to pay you, $10 million. Okay. Now, Brand X offers you a job that you want because you don't have to work. And in some of these contracts, it says you have to at least show that you're trying to get a job. There's some of those little stipulations in there too. What percentage, I don't know, but I've seen contracts I know exist. So now you get a job, let's say, as a coordinator. Well, let's say that job would normally play like $1.5 million. I noticed for a fact there are some coaches will then take the job for $750,000 because they know they're getting the rest anyway. So they're giving the new school a bargain. I'll go one step further because I noticed about contracts. So let's say you got 2 years left on the contract, okay? And now you only go for $750 and $750. But in the third year, if it's a 3-year contract, you will pay that person more than you would have, not to equate. It's kind of like a halvesies bargain in between, because let's say you've saved that school $1.5 million over 2 years. Well, maybe you'll pay that person an extra $500,000 and everybody still wins. Did you think everybody understood that?
Yeah. Basically, they get a discount. They give the school a discount on the front end and makes it up on the back end, and they still getting their money from the previous school.
Correct, and it also depends upon the length of the contract. But it's kind of like, oh, we'll share it with you. You save us less, and in that third year, when you would have made blank and blank and blank, it'll be just lower blank, and upper blank, so that we each win-win. And you know what? The other school's got to shut up because they're the ones that fired him. They're the ones that signed the contract.
Right.
That's probably too intricate. Most people, do you think, probably don't care, but I do think there are some people interested in the nuances and stuff like that.
This, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the inside baseball part of it that the people don't see. This is how the sausage is made, and it's also kind of the gutter part of college athletics. Well, I mean, it's like that in professional sports too. It's the part that people don't want to hear about. Because it gets seedy and it gets shady down in there when you get down to it.
On paper, who's got a better basketball team, Louisville or Kentucky?
I can't really say because I mean, only reason because only player that I've seen more of the Louisville guys, and we saw more of Mikael Brown in that FIBA thing than we did of Jasper.
He's a stud.
He is a stud. It's amazing. You know that kid already has his own AAU team.
What? Hold on. Okay, so you're telling me he's making so much in the NIL, he's decided to give back in Hope Kids Hat and has his own AAU team, which, by the way, is, that ain't cheap.
No. It's not cheap. Yeah, he has his own AAU team. We were getting a laugh out of this weekend out of Tyron Stokes coming in town, going into his senior year in high school, having a backpack drive and having a back-to-school drive for school kids.
That I saw, and apparently he's already bought his mom a new car.
Sure, he probably has.
By the way, is that kid going to Kentucky or Louisville?
It depends on who you talk to. I mean, from what I've heard, is like he really likes Louisville. He really wants to come back to the city. Nike is really pushing him to go to Kentucky if he's going to stay in state or come back to the state. So basically, it comes down to either he chooses Louisville or a Nike school.
I think I'm not a recruiting guy.
I'm not either.
But I think most people say, although Kentucky's caught up tremendously, it's still Louisville.
I've heard that. I mean, being from Louisville, it's so fun because Louisville's a big, small town. I found out last week that a family that I grew up with in church is related to him, and I found that out last week.
Small world.
It's a small world. So, I'm guessing. So they'll probably tell me as soon as he knows, but but they haven't said if he's leaning one way or the other. So
All right.
it's one of those things where a lot of people think they know, but on both sides, because I see it on the Louisville side too, like he's definitely coming with. I'm like, we haven't heard that, and so I think that's gonna. I think he is genuinely confused and perplexed on what he wants to do. I don't think he has an idea what he wants to do yet.
Okay, and that's fair. We got about a minute left. What in sports, whether it's in the state of Kentucky or anywhere in the world, right now floats your boat that you have passion about that you want to just go, Arr.
The stupidity of my favorite NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Can't argue with that.
The stupidity it's mind-numbing because it's obvious they care more about being the lead story on First Take every day than they do about winning a Super Bowl. And so it's one of those things like you grew up rooting for this team, so it's hard to let it go. But I am to the point where I've been numb to them losing for years. And I'm numb to when people make fun of them. That's one of my favorite times to watch Stephen A is when he's making fun of the Cowboys. Because a lot of the stuff he says is dead on true. And so I'm so used to the stupidity, and it's just sometimes it does get old.
I guess maybe because I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, that's the first time the Dallas Cowboys problems with a certain stud superstar in the contract problems with the first time we've mentioned it.
I'm sure nobody here has mentioned it either.
No, it's all good. But if you're a Cowboy fan, I see it. Hey, man, you were juggling today. I know that. You ran home to be able to do this. Bless your brother. I don't know what the hell you need from me. Usually nothing is how you survive better. But let me know if you can do anything for you. And trust me. Get some stuff from Keith. You'll be so impressed with Mr. Pete.
Other than the fact that I'll have to talk to Keith.
You've been friends with Keith for like 40 years.
You think mine and your conversations are bad? You should hear him and I. He's a Steelers fan, so.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, him and I go back and forth all the time.
Yeah. I remember when he first came back to us, there was this ugly yellow towel on his desk.
Yeah, he's a giant Steelers fan. And so,
yes,
yeah.
I know. Oh, no, I know. And you know, when I was still doing the Bengals and it was Steeler week, it was amazing how something extra from Pittsburgh would be on his desk. And he would say, Cutler, don't touch my desk. And I didn't. But he made that perfectly clear.
None of this is surprising to me.
No, I understand. Hey,
I love Farmer to death.
Me too. But you could think of something nasty, just attribute it to me and say Cutler said that on radio. Hey, man, it's just great catching up. Always a pleasure. And maybe a couple weeks from now, you can squeeze out another half hour.
Oh, of course. When we get closer to the season start, I'd love to come back on.
What a joy. I don't know what the hell we did the last half hour, but I thought it was good radio. But what the hell do I know?
Hey, I was stuck on 65 for part of it, so that's good.
Yeah, you did a really good job navigating. No, you did good. Hey, Kendrick, God bless you. By the way, I'll give you a Twitter handle out and give yourself a plug as sports director of Wave TV, please.
Just at Kendrick Haskins on Twitter, Kendrick Haskins on IG and Facebook. Find me anywhere.
I'll find you, brother. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, man.
Hey, man, have a great day.
You too.
Jimmy, you could tell he and I have had off-the-air conversations for years and years and years and years and years. By the way, did I just go off the air for a split second?
It did for like half a second.
Yeah, I almost dropped the phone. I caught it. It went to another side, which took me off the air. I'm such a technical genius. I'm going to blame it on my bad eye. You going to buy that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid reason.
Yeah, it is. I think it's because I'm clumsy. Thank you, Kendrick. Andy Furman coming up next. Andy Furman, Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. 859-533-0914. Acupuncture. Ramon Carriega, now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Ramon is special acupuncture needles. And I've had a real bad problem sleeping. First of all, because how I have to sleep because of my eye. I have to sleep kind of like in a 45-degree angle, and I can't. It's been, first of all, I'm not a good sleeper to begin with. part of old age. And then on top of it with this, I haven't had a good night's sleep before Memorial Day. So my neck is really messed up. And he put in about 8 or 9 needles, it seemed like, in my neck. And all of a sudden, when I left, I could turn my head both sides all the way. It's a beautiful thing. He's helped me tremendously. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Please use my name on Versailles Road, 859-533-0914. Andy Furman coming up next. Thank you, Kendrick. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto.
Quattro Subaru.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
It's summertime, and that means it's time to hit the road. Whether you're heading across town or across the state, going on a picnic, to a baseball game, or driving to the lake, stop by, fill up, and stock up at Clark's Pump and Shop, your road trip headquarters.
Clark's Pump and Shop has everything you need to get you to your summertime destination, including assorted Jolly Rancher or Twizzler peg bags, 2 for $5, and Jacqueline's 2-ounce steak strip or extra large beef and cheese, 2 for $6.
Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel.
ESPN 92.5 and 1300, live and local, weekdays from 10 to 3. Get the ESPN Lexington app. Just search ESPN Sports Lexington in your app store.
W223CV Lexington.
ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. WLXG Lexington, an LM Communications broadcasting station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Well, welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. This is the top line in my friend Andy Furman's Twitter account. Kicking ass on Fox Sports Radio nationwide, 200-plus affiliates. One of them happens to be he's on our air on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. Andy, when are you on our air? Thank you for joining me. And how are you, pal?
First of all, how are you? I heard
Better.
some terrible stories about you and your eyesight. How are you doing?
About 70% back. I was totally blind for a little over a month, and then this gas bubble that totally encompassed my eye started to slowly go down and down. It dissipates, and it's about 70% back. But my depth perception is still really bad. But it's, knock on wood, thank God I'm getting much better.
Good. How did that happen anyway?
I have no idea. That's the first question I asked. I woke up Saturday morning, Memorial Day weekend, and I barely could see out of my eye when I got to my eye doctor at Memorial Day weekend, and I thought about going to the hospital, but then some person's going to look at my eye and they don't know what the hell they're doing. When I finally got to the doctor, she's a friend of me and Judy, and we were about to go on vacation, and she said, "You're going to need surgery." Well, that freaks you out. And I said, "We're about to go on vacation." I said, "Can I go?" She said, "Sure, but you're going to be blind." I said, "Okay, when am I getting surgery?" She said, "Today." And I got hooked up with a surgeon today. And I got hooked up with a surgeon, and in his office, Dr. Busquets lasered my eye. And he said, "I think I got it all, but you still need surgery." And I said, "Well, can it wait?" We were supposed to go on another vacation. I missed the first vacation, a family vacation to Italy. And he said, no, you can't fly. If you fly, your eye might pop, so you can't go.
Wow.
So it's been interesting.
Well, you're on your way back, which is good.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky and blessed. It could have been worse. Well, the question I asked was, why did it happen? And so the eye doctor, who's friends with Judy and friends with me, said, "Did you fall?" "No." "Did you hit your head?" "No." Then she said, "Did Judy slug you?" So we laughed. And I said, "No." So I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, she's seen 6 or 8 cases like this when people just walked in." I said, "Is there a common theme?" She said, "Yeah, people your age." I then asked the surgeon the same question. He says, "I see it every day." And I said, "What's the common theme?" He said, "People your age."
Wow. See, I thought it was because you yell and scream on the radio too much. You got some pressure built up. That's why I thought it was. Really,
that could be. And seriously, I'm convinced. So is Judy. I did it to myself because I know I don't look the part, but I've been doing yoga. I can't now since I was 35, and I fixed my back. And this took me 2 years to do. And I swear, Andy, this is true. I could lay flat on my back. Not the first thing, but I had this whole routine I took from a lot of different things. Put my feet over my head, put my feet behind me, behind my head. I read about it when I started doing it when I was 35 to fix my back, and I did fix my back. I've been going to the chiropractor for half my life, and I totally fixed my back with yoga, and it said it put pressure on you. Well, I've done this for 35 years, and I think I did it to myself.
What are you trying to do? Join the circus? Putting your head over your foot and stuff like that? Relax. You're old. Let it go. Let that stuff go.
Well, I can't. Let's put it this way. I will never do that again. I have to find different ways to work out. So that's matter of fact. I'm looking at the. Let's talk a bit. I'm looking at the Tai Chi when my eye gets healthy because it won't put the strain. Okay, so I have this funny thing. Okay, Andy. Now you tell me. So the Reds get a guy who can hit, who's a hell of a fielder, makes an error the first game, but that's fine. And I remember his dad, and so did you, caught the last out of the World Series for the Yankees when he was playing third base. You're spending $16 million for a guy, and you're batting him ninth because he can't hit. And I'm glad the Reds did something because I was wrong. I didn't think they'd do anything. I can't decide if I like the trade enough. It could be Crying Hayes. I can't decide it because he can hit. At least he hits usually in Cincinnati, but not for a guy you're spending all that money to bat ninth. So I'm not sure.
Well, I think time will tell. I think right now there's not much of a book to look at. However, I will tell you this much. I think it was a hell of a move because they lost so many games this year on defense. And this guy's going to tighten up the defense. He's one hell of a defensive player. If they get him to bat 240 or 250, they're in good shape. That's what they got to do. Let him bat ninth. Who cares? You know what? The top of the order is coming around right now. The pitching's been tremendous. It really has been, despite the fact that Hunter Green's not even there. So the relief pitching is great. I just think that they got to get it together. They had a hell of a win last night. However, it was kind of a lucky win with that challenge call at first base, but still in all they won. They got to keep on winning. The problem with this club is they haven't reeled off a streak. They got to win 10 out of 12. They got to win 13 out of 16. That's what they got to do. They win 1, they lose 1. They win 3, they lose 2. That's what they do. They got to win. They got to get on a streak, and hopefully they will now.
Well, their defense was horrendous. I'm a big defensive guy. There's no question he's improved third base tremendously. Everybody they put there, except for Espinal, who's a good fielder but can't hit his weight. He's a terrible hitter. He's just not any good. Everybody else can't even catch the ball, so I agree with you. But, I love Francona, but he does some weird things. Fraley hits a home run last week, and he does the lefty-righty switch, which sometimes I agree with, not all the time, and he puts up Espinal to pinch hit for him. and when they need a run, and he's driven in 14 runs and over 250 at bats, which is horrendous. And he does some strange things that you look at and you scratch your head.
Well, I'm going to tell you this much right now. I can't believe you're talking about the Reds right now when football is knocking on the door. Number one. Number two, the Reds are going nowhere. They're not going to win the division. They'll be lucky. They'll be very lucky if they get a wild card bid. So I think you're wasting your breath and you're going to have your eye infected if you keep on talking about the Reds. However, I understand. I'll tell you why. You're calling me up here. I don't live in Lexington. And I'll tell you what, maybe that's a good thing because I don't know what the hell you do in Lexington. You got to worry about the Cincinnati Reds in Lexington. What do you do? Let me ask you a question. You've lived there most of your adult life. What goes on in Lexington that you have to call me in Cincinnati? You have to call Hal McCoy in Dayton. There's nobody or nothing in Lexington, really, except horses. And they don't talk, except Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed was pretty good. No, I talk UK football and basketball most of the time, so we carry the Reds, and I will do a little Reds talk. It's a small part of my show, but it's part of it. You're in Cincinnati. You follow it. I wanted your opinion. This is not – look, I've done
appreciate that.
This has been mostly youth football. By the way, I got to tell you, I stole one of your pictures from your Twitter to tease the show, and you have a Brooklyn shirt on. I swear, Andy, before I took the picture just to tease you in the show, I was already wearing my Brooklyn shirt. Now I have about three or four Brooklyn shirts. So I'm going to ask you the Reds. That's fine. Now I'll go on with the Bengals. We carry the Bengals.
Okay.
We carry the Reds. Joe Burrow says.
Wait, one time out. All right.
No.
I wanted to ask you like a deep.
Okay. No, go ahead. Ask me a question. You come on. You go. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you a deep question because 99% of people who sit behind microphones talk about what might happen, their opinion, and they know as much or little than the listener there. Okay? I mean, people. I hear these idiots on the radio right now predicting how many games the Bengals are going to win. Please don't waste my time. Here's a question which only you can answer because you have something between your ears. All right? You have an opinion. You're not filtered, okay? There was a story the other day in the press about Tom Brady getting involved with Scotty Scheffler, saying Scotty Scheffler is putting his job over his family. I read about that. I laughed. I went ballistic on it on Fox Sports Radio and say, wait a minute, Tom, who the hell are you to get involved with Scotty Scheffler's life, number one? And number two, you screwed up your own life. The girl left you. You're telling Scotty Scheffler how to live a life? Really? I don't get it. These are the things I like to talk about.
Actually, I saw that. I didn't talk about it. It was on my list. I left it alone. My bad. I thought it was incredibly hypocritical that Tom Brady's ego is so big. Who the hell is he to give marriage advice? And it seems like Scotty Scheffler is doing a hell of a job balancing the two. And it seems like Scotty Scheffler is doing a tremendous job now on top of comparing the two. I mean, Brady got divorced. He got divorced, and he's telling Scheffler what to do. And you can concentrate and concentrate. And there are some people who are very good at that. When you're playing golf, you play golf. When you're with your family, you're with your family. And so I applaud him what he's doing. I just laughed at it. And you know what? Shame on me. I should have said something. I thought it might have been the dumbest thing I've ever heard of Tom Brady's mouth. Who the hell is Tom?
But more than that.
Who the hell is Tom Brady to give it marital advice? And by the way, I'll go one step further.
Right.
Suppose he had what was deemed as a perfect marriage. And you never know what goes on behind closed doors. Obviously, his wasn't because it was all public and divorce and all that kind of stuff. And now it seems like he's got a million girlfriends. God bless, more power to him. Who the hell is Tom Brady if he had a perfect marriage to give marital advice? Everybody is different. Everybody's different.
No doubt.
And if Scotty Scheffler has found something that works, let me tell you something. I did a lousy job with balancing home and my kids because I worked too much. So I didn't do a good job. There's no. I've said this on radio before. I didn't do a good job. I worked too much. My wife put up with me. Thank God. My kids still love me. I don't know why. Thank God for that. But who is he to give advice to anybody? He's a loser when it comes to marriage.
Especially in the last year when his wife told him not to go to Tampa Bay to play football that one last year when he was striving for that Super Bowl, which he won, and he still went. I mean, I understand it's very difficult. It's a tough situation. You worked at night on TV. It's very difficult. You weren't home. I understand that. And you needed that because you were a supporter for the family. I get that. But you can balance it. And Scotty Scheffler, I think I commend him now. I never was a big fan of him, tremendous golfer. But what he said the other day, I said, wow. I mean, he thinks family is more important than the job itself, which I think perhaps it is. It is. I loved what he said, but he's doing both and doing a hell of a job doing both. And Tom Brady, of all people, to come in there and say that, forget it. So I'm glad we could talk about that a little. These are the things that I look why athletes to me are not role models. They're not role models. They have a pulpit and they have a stage to stand on. But you know what? Take what they say with a grain of salt. Aaron Rodgers, no vaccinations. Are you kidding me? I hope he does well. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame as the first ballot guy. But don't tell me about vaccinations, what I should do, please. But, don't ruin the pulpit that's given you.
Yeah, when Rodgers said vaccines, well, first of all, I'm going to do what I think is best for me. My family does whatever. But Aaron Rodgers would have no influence. I'm going to give you a crazy theory about this pressure thing. You ready, Andy? I think Scotty Scheffler is a better golfer. Hang with me a second. Because of how he loves his family, and that's more important. And I think it takes some pressure off golf. You've seen this a ton. I have too. That athletes who are really good sometimes put so much pressure on themselves they never make it as big. Now, what Scheffler does, and I've heard him talk about other things, he's in the moment. He's really good in the moment. It's called mindful. I wonder if he meditates because he talks like he does. He's able to dissect the two, and because his family life is so important, a 3-foot putt is important, but it's not life and death because his family is, and I think enables him to play golf better because he's got things in his proper priorities.
Well, I'm going to take your theory and flush it down the toilet because all I got to do is bring Tom Brady back in the picture. Look what he did, and his family life was terrible. All right? So what does it mean? I don't know. There have been great ball players that had terrible family lives. There have been great ball players that had no family life. I mean, really. Look at Will Chamberlain. Go back in time. What do you have, 20,000 women? He said, come on, really? If you have the God-given ability and you have the will to win, the will to practice like a Michael Jordan, and the will that you want to be better than anybody else, you're going to be good.
Everybody handles pressure differently. And you're right. Everybody's different. And you're right about what you say about Brady. And he didn't have a family life. That was his choice. And he was so maniacal. He shut everything out. But there are some people standing over a putt. If it's everything in the world and they're going to get the yips and they start shaking their hands, I think there are some people, some, not all. I'm not saying this works for everybody. I think there's some people that put it in perspective that allows them to handle pressure work. You know this about Pete Rose. When Pete Rose has gone through the worst days, and he had a lot of really bad days gambling and fights with his wife and stuff like that, and people coming after him and all kinds of things. The last book on him about a year or so ago was just even opened up my eyes. Hal McCoy, who was around him all the time, he knew tons of stuff in there, but it was even worse than he thought. And so he wanted to go to the ballpark to get away from him. That worked for him. That helped him handle pressure. So everybody's different. I think he can help you. And there are cases, you're absolutely right, Andy, when it comes to Tom Brady. How the hell is my family? He didn't say that, but he really did. I'm going to do this 18 hours a day because I want to be the best quarterback in the world. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I think both can work. Scheffler's I like better because he has a family.
I hear what you're saying. Now, you were the host of the Bengals radio network for years, all right? And now you look at the Bengals from afar, and I asked you about what's happening now with this Trey Hendrickson situation. Does he come back? Does he play? I don't like the rule, what they call the but you on the sidelines. Look at this. I'm in the car right now. Some lady just drove down the street the wrong way. It's unbelievable. I mean, how stupid are people? I mean, she's going down 5th Street in Covington the wrong way. Are you kidding me? Really?
I've been on 6th Street in Covington. That's really bad.
It's unbelievable. She probably has a master's degree in something, but she's a moron as a driver. That's another question. But I'll say that the Henderson thing, I mean, they have this thing right now when you used to hold out, you were fined $50,000 a day, all right? Now you can hold in, and you've got to practice, wear a jersey, wear a hat, and you don't have to pay the $50,000, but you're still holding out, and you don't have to practice. I don't get it, Everything is made for the athlete. And I still hear these national people, and I guess you can consider me one of them, but I'm close to the Cincinnati situation. The national people say, Mike Brown is cheap. Are you freaking kidding me? Cheap. Look what he paid for Burrow, Higgins, and Jamar Chase. He's cheap? I mean, Hendrickson signed the contract, and see if you agree with this. I honestly believe that contracts, at least in the NFL, You get paid on what we expect you to do, not what you've done. As a matter of fact, look at college, NIL. That's basically the same thing. We're paying a high school kid on what we think he might do, all right? You get paid in the NFL on what you're going to do, not what you did.
Two takes. One, Mike Brown used to be cheap. Used to be. And the problem is the stupidity in the media can't let go of the past. You know this. When I showed up to do the Bengals, Dick LeBeau was still the coach before they switched to Marvin. When Marvin showed up, you remember these stories. It came out that the Brown family was so cheap, they didn't have towels that would go around the bellies of the offensive and defensive linemen. They wouldn't provide breakfast for the team. You might say, let the guys get stuff on their own. Please give them breakfast so they have something when they show up to work. You can stop and pick up something on the way, and a lot of guys do. There's a certain way how to handle yourself the right way. He was really cheap. He changed. Marvin Lewis did more to change the operation. Katie, his daughter, who will run the franchise with her husband, has also changed. They're spending money. They spent it on Chase. They spent it on Higgins. I couldn't agree with you more. Burrow's making $50 million a year plus whatever. So they're spending money. They're just arguing about how much of the money they should spend. I don't think this is a cheap thing. I think the Bengals think he's worth X and he thinks he's worth Y. Now, 25 years ago, would I have said that? Hell no. 25 years ago, odds are overwhelming. I would say Mike Brown is cheap. He is not cheap today. And shame on the media. Shame on the media for being horsepuck and making comments when they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I agree. And here's the thing as far as Hendricks is concerned. Number one, they didn't even report the fact that he's under contract. Okay, so obviously contracts mean nothing. Number two, he will be 31 years old shortly. If in fact he is arguing, I haven't seen his contract, I just know what I hear and read. But if in fact he's looking for an extension for 2 years, I'm with the Bengals. I ain't giving a guy 33 years of age at that position a 2-year deal. A little extra money? Perhaps. Now, if you look at the statistics, I looked at them closely. Yeah, he led the league in sacks, 17.5 sacks. Do you know how he only had sacks in the 4 or 5 games? He did not have 1 sack against the Baltimore Ravens twice. He had 4 sacks against a terrible Las Vegas Raiders team. So I don't know if that means anything, but if I'm negotiating, it means something. I am against a good team. He had no sacks against the Steelers and no sacks against the Ravens. I mean, I'm not against the Eagles. I mean, come on. So where was he? And remember one other thing. They didn't make the playoffs with him. They could easily not make the playoffs without him.
Actually, that stat is very important because Vegas had a – I hope – somebody's going down the street the right way, and hope everybody's okay. Vegas had a horrible offensive line. He padded his stats against really good teams. Apparently, they had agreed on money, but he wants 3 years guaranteed. And I got to tell you, you know what this reminds me of? Lemieux with the Yankees. He got a 6-year deal, and I'm screaming and going, I'd have given him a 3-year deal. I wouldn't give him a 6-year deal. The Yankees caved in like one of my cheap suits. They have to pay him continued. And I don't want to pay him. These guys want contracts in football when they're 35 and 36. He's not going to be as good. So I really see that point of view. I would have no problem giving him a 2-year guarantee, but if he wants a 4 or 5 year contract, no. The problem is,
that's not going to happen.
Didn't J.J. Watt in Pittsburgh, didn't he get 3 years guaranteed? And the Bengals don't want to do it. And you want to know something? At 34.
But he's younger. Wait, but Watt's younger. Watt's younger, number one. Number two, don't even mention Watt in the same breath as Hendrickson. That's a different animal. Believe me. I mean, they're not the same. I mean, Hendrickson is no J.J. Watt. I promise you that. But here's the deal. I have no problem with what the Bengals are doing. And honestly, what I laugh at is when Hendrickson said last year and this year again, I'm not going to play. Who are you kidding? You're full of it. Who are you? You're going to sit out. You're making $16 million. You're not starving, okay? And I know it's not as far as what the other players in that area and your position are making, but I will tell you this much. You're not going to not play. Believe me, you'll be playing. I promise. And the Browns know that too. I mean, Mike Brown.
Oh, sure they know because
out. Come on, really?
Well, if you sit out at this age, now you only have a year or two left, and guess what? They'll offer him even less because he didn't play football. So, do I think he's going to come in Yes. Do I think he's going to have to concede more than he wants? Yes. Does this make Mike Brown cheap? No. I would not give him. I would just say, and I'm sure they have. Andy, I would say if J.J. Watt can get 3 years from the Steelers guaranteed, God bless, more power to him. You're 31. If you can defy the odds and be this good when you're 34, I think that's great. We're not paying for it now. And I'll tell you something else. If you're that good at 34, we'll pay you 1 year at 34, not another 2-3 year contract, because you're not going to be as good at 37. Seriously, I'm actually agreeing.
He's not playing. He's not playing at 34. Believe me, he's 31 now. He may play till 33. I give him maybe a year with an option for a second year. Maybe that's what I do. 1 year, we'll give you an option. See how you do. That's what we'll do.
Well,
and get your ass on the field and play.
What they're trying to do, if I read it properly, he's been offered a 3-year contract, but only one guaranteed. And the reason why the Bengals don't like to do 3 years because it's dead money, and they actually want to spend their money. Because the way of doing this, sometimes with the dead money, you don't have to spend that money because you can't spend that money, and it's a way for teams to be cheap. So Brown is saying, I want to spend the money I can spend. I don't want to go over, and I'm okay with that. But I want to spend the money I want to spend, so he doesn't want dead money. That's another way where he's running his business where he's not cheap. There are some owners that have said, yeah, we'll take on the dead money because now I don't have to spend it. You have to pay the guaranteed part of the contract, duh. But after that, if it's $30 million, that goes against your cap and you have less money to spend. Brown actually is not being cheap. He's actually saying, I want to spend the money that we can because that's how I can run my business. And he said something else the other day was cool. And I've heard him say it before, and I absolutely believe him that people think he's full of you-know-what. Absolutely believe him. He could have left Cincinnati for a ton more money, but he's loyal to Cincinnati. He's doing this business for his kids to take over. They are. He drives he gets a new car every year, not a Rolls Royce. Back then, it used to be a Chevy, a nice Chevy, nothing extravagant. He hasn't bought a house that's like $1 gazillion like these guys. He lives in the same neighborhood, goes to quiet restaurants with his wife and friends and stuff like that. He lives a very simple life. It's not about him with money. It's him about running a business for his kids. And I honestly believe it. And I'm not kissing up to them. I wouldn't have kissed up to them when I worked for him. So,
I'm going to ask you this. I mean, I've heard him say that this is his home and he likes it here. I never really maybe read between the lines hearing him say he could have gone somewhere else. I don't think he's ever said that because I'll be quite honest with you. Where's he going to go? I mean, what cities are available right now? Where do you go? I mean, if you're an NFL owner, you could have said, it'll be almost like Hendricks can say, I'm not playing. Where would the Cincinnati Bengals go? Maybe a city in Texas, but I guarantee you, Houston doesn't want it. Dallas doesn't want it. Maybe San Antonio obviously wants a team, but they don't want a third team in Texas. San Diego failed. St. Louis failed twice. Where's he going to go?
He's hinted at it a couple times.
Think about it.
No, the other day, that once a year when he talks to the media, one of the things I listen to, he hinted at it, and I honestly remember him hinting at it when I did the Bengals on the Bengals radio network. He really
maybe
did.
So I was at that media luncheon. I went to the media luncheon that day, and some questions were thrown at him. And he says, this is our home. I like it here. Boom. And I don't think he's ever drawn the line in the sand saying, well, I could have gone somewhere else. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mistaken. You were closer than I because you were there every week with him and you did the games and they did the pregame, postgame, whatever. But I just don't know where you go. That's the thing.
Okay.
And he would never get a deal today, like he got in Cincinnati and another city where the taxpayers built a stadium for him. That ain't happening anywhere anymore. They turned it down in Kansas City recently too. Ain't happening no more. People are getting a little smarter in their old age. You think the people in Ohio are real happy? The taxpayers in Ohio are paying for a dome stadium in Cleveland. And I'm talking about the taxpayers in Cincinnati are paying for that dome stadium now for the Browns. It doesn't make any sense. It's disgusting, and fans and taxpayers are getting sick of it. They are.
And Kansas City was the test case. As much as they're loved there, if they didn't want to pay for the stadium, and they shouldn't, that did change things. There's no question about it. But you know this, the Bengals can only make X amount off extra off those boxes and stuff like that. Dallas is in a total different category about all the money they can make. It's tons more than Cincinnati. No, he's hinted at it a couple times, very lightly and nicely, but he has, I promise you. And by the way, let me clear something else. When I did the Bengals for 14 years, I was never around him. The only time I got to talk to him was that once-a-year press conference, and a couple of times when I went to Georgetown, he was on a golf cart and he kind of nodded at me, so I went over and said hi. So I don't want anybody to misconstrue that I was close to Mike Brown or something like that, because it's not true. But did I hear a lot of things being in the broadcast booth with Bang? Absolutely. But
his birthday is Friday, you know.
Well,
he's going to be 90 years old Friday.
God bless him. They've had really bad luck there about not winning. You get a Carson Palmer between cocaine and a ripped knee and a broken leg. There were 3 great chances of them winning the Super Bowl. They've won none. And life isn't fair. We all know that, Andy. Do I think they would have won the Super Bowl if at least those things didn't happen? I'm not saying they would have won 3, but probability is they would have won 1, and everybody would look at him differently. It's just not meant to be. And I've said this on the air. I hope he wins the Super Bowl before he leaves us. He goes to the office 7 freaking days a week. 7 days a week.
I know.
Off season, on season. I mean the drive to the stadium and back. I mean, he's not going anywhere. If you offered him gazillion dollars more, they would never move. It's all setting up as a business for his kids, and I absolutely buy that.
He's a hell of a man. I mean, I really do. I like him.
I do too. 2 things. I know you got to go. 1, tell everybody when you're on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM.
Well, I'm on Sunday mornings, but sometimes I pop on during the week on various shows. But normally Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And we kind of get it going pretty good. So I'm over there. So I appreciate that. That was on Sirius XM Channel 83. So that's good too.
Okay. By the way, I'm glad you brought up Brady, because that's the epitome of hypocrisy, and it shows you how the ego is getting big. Before we say goodbye, and I probably kept you too long, anything else and anywhere in sports, doesn't have to be Lexington, Cincinnati, okay, that really floats your boat that bad that you just want to scream, it would be...
No, I tell you, I'm pretty content, and I don't get that rattled anymore, only at times. And, you bring out the worst, which is the best of me. So I appreciate that. I really do.
You're the best, Andy. God bless you. Happy health to you and your family. And, these 2 old goats here who have survived and thrived and still having fun. And that's a blessing in itself.
There you go. Hang in there, my friend. Be well.
I am. Hey, Andy, thanks again, man. I appreciate you. Folks, let me tell you, he's a national treasure. I mean, he's the best. He's the absolute best. I'm 72. I don't know how old Andy is. I think he's older than I am. Jimmy, he's got vim and fire in him. I love that he brought up the Brady thing. And I had it on my list, and I didn't use this. It's a shame on me, and he's right. But who the hell is Tom Brady to give family advice to anyone? I'm Googling how old is Andy Furman. I'm going to guess he's 73. I've known Furball forever. Answer is, and by the way, I guess I did this years ago and a long time ago, and he didn't like that I brought it up, but he had a lot to do with me going to Cincinnati. He really helped. No, let me tell you something. Chat GPT is just off. They're just, oh my gosh. I'm looking at this. Jimmy, let me tell you something. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in the chat. You got to be careful with it. Okay, so there was a tweet today by Howard Kellman, who does the Indianapolis games. He's done minor league baseball forever, and he's a geek about baseball. And so he put up something about 1963 on a very humid summer day in New York City. I got tears in my eyes when Mickey Mantle belted a game-time pitch and home run because he'd been out for 61 games. Andy retweets it. Okay, so now they're suggesting that he was born in 63 and he's about 61 or 62 years old in 25. It's just not true. Andy's in his 70s. There's no question about it. You looking it up, Jimmy? You trying to find out?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on it.
Yeah, but this is... By the way, can I read what you said about Andy? Nobody better than Andy Furman to talk Cincinnati sports. Love the guy. Is a text we just got on the text machine. Number to dial on the text machine is
859-381-1313.
Andy's great. He's a special dude. You know what he had in his contract? If I've never told you this, Jimmy, I don't think I have. There's not another human being who has it. He had a postage deal in his contract in Cincinnati. You think I'm nuts? A postage deal?
I feel like that's not something you see nowadays.
Andy, on an old typewriter, would type out letters, short letters to people all across the country. He would find an article, cut it out, send you a short note, that kind of thing. And he would send letters out every single day. And it improved his relationships with people, not a little bit, but tremendously. And so he had a deal that he could send out as many letters as he wanted. And by the way, he'd send out a ton. I'm going to have to talk to him on the air about it. And it was such a smart thing to do. He was actually the PR director at Latonia before it was Turfway, and some of the crazy stuff he did back then. Just a special guy. And he's still on our air at over 200 stations. It is absolutely unequivocally a beautiful thing. Tell you who else is a beautiful thing? Terry Page. Terry Page. Not a very good, a great licensed massage therapist. I mean, it's crazy how much she's helped me. Just crazy. And she's got this deal right now. If you go visit her, $5 off. $5 off. And if you do this before August 29th and you make your appointments consecutively after that, it's $10 off after that for as long as you do it. This deal is good until August 29th. And I can tell you personally, she's helped me out tons. She's a great licensed massage therapist, one of the most special people I've ever met. 859-373-0578. 859-373-0578. Use my name. Say, Terry, I was listening to Cutler talk about you and brag about you on his show. 859-373-0578. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Lexington, it's time to feel the warmth and spread the love in a brand new Subaru from Quantrell Subaru. This is Alan Cutler, and you can feel good about working with the Quantrell family for your next Subaru, because not only do we get the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks, but for decades, the Quantrell family of dealerships has donated to over 50 local charities and events. So, play as hard as you work, go where you've never been, and keep it local at Quantrell Subaru. QuantrellSubaru.com.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
It's summertime, and that means it's time to hit the road. Whether you're heading across town or across the state, going on a picnic, to a baseball game, or driving to the lake, stop by, fill up, and stock up at Clark's Pump and Shop, your road trip headquarters.
Clark's Pump and Shop has everything you need to get you to your summertime destination, including assorted Jolly Rancher or Twizzler peg bags, 2 for $5, and Jacqueline's 2-ounce steak strip or extra large beef and cheese, 2 for $6.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
You know, one of the joys for me is that, for example, the two people on today are friends of mine who happen to be great at what they do. And I don't just ask friends to come on my show. I ask friends who are really good at what they do. And then there's a lot of people who I don't know who come on the show. But I've been so fortunate with people like that. Jimmy, if I've told this story, stop me. I don't think I have. Maybe I have. One day I get a call from Andy, and he says, "Hey, you want to work in Cincinnati?" So Jeff Pecora and Andy Furman had a lot to do with me working in Cincinnati. Jeff started it, and then Andy amplified it. There's no question about it. So 2 times in my career that I found out that people actually recommended me and stood up for me and said, "Hey, you don't know this guy, but you need to look at hiring him." And it really changed my career. There's no question about it. The stuff I did in Cincinnati, along with Lexington, gives you a different platform. So he's been a good friend. And I don't even know if he wants to, but he should be doing a national show Monday through Friday. You know, it's interesting. I listened to some of the people on at night on ESPN, and I'm not trying to rip it because it's on our station, but the truth is he's so much better than some of those people on at night. It's not even funny. It's not even close. It's not even close. Some of the hiring that goes on, I think he's better than the people who do the mornings on our station. And by the way, I kind of like the show. It's better than the show before, but that's neither here nor there. For some reason, I wonder if they think he's too old. And believe me, ESPN knows about it. There's no question about it. But he's doing the weekend thing. He's happy. I do know that. He's been in the business for thousands of years, so it seems like, doing sports talk forever. And I've always was amazed he didn't end up in New York City. But he likes Cincinnati. It's home. He lives there. He's got friends there. He's got a really wonderful life and a wonderful family. Just appreciate him, not a little, but appreciate him tremendously. We're going to flip totally. And Jimmy, give me a thumbs up when you get the Cam Ward thing. I got to tell you, I love Cam Ward. I think the Titans made not a good, but a brilliant pick. The kid from LSU, I'm going blank on his name. Isn't that terrible? Jimmy, you'll help me a second, who went to Washington. I said in September, late September of his senior year with LSU. Help me out, Jimmy. I'm not going to Google it. The Washington quarterback. Redskins.
Oh, Jaden Daniels.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about college Washington.
No. No, maybe I did too. Okay, so when Jaden Daniels, late in September of his last year at LSU, I said he was the best player in the country and was going to win the Heisman, and ended up being right. And I thought he was by far the best player in the draft, by far. But he's changed the whole franchise around. I'm not ready to say that Cam Ward will be as good as Daniels is. I think the Titans have their franchise quarterback. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback fairly quick. I'm not going to say he's anything like Kansas City and Washington and Cincinnati and Buffalo and San Diego and Baltimore. I mean, think about it. This is and Jimmy, you're an NFL guy. To me, this is kind of like a golden era of quarterbacks. Now, I go back to 1960, seriously. And I don't ever remember, and I thought about this the other day, and I was going to throw it on another show when we had more time for us to talk, but you know how stuff just hits me, Jimmy? It hits me when it hits me. I go back to 1960. I remember the Milt Plums of the world. I remember the Bobby Lanes of the world. I remember the Y.A. Tittles of the world. I mean, I remember those quarterbacks. Sonny Jurgensen. There were some really good quarterbacks then, but not as many elite quarterbacks as today. I don't know if it's because of the training. I suspect that's part of it. I also suspect the coaching is much better today than it was back then. And there are more good coaches, like there are more good strength coaches. And I remember when I first started watching football, and Jimmy, if you've heard this, I won't be surprised, but if you hadn't, you're going to laugh at me. You know they told football players not to lift weights back in the 50s?
Yeah.
They were afraid they're going to get muscle bound. I think about that every now and then, and I just laugh every single time. The stupidity of it all. So I think the training and the nutrition and the coaching and something else, guys work much harder. It's not that they were lazy back then, but nobody worked like that. I mean, in baseball, I remember the year when Elroy Face, I think he lost one game. He was 18-1 or 19-1. He was with the Pirates, and he was the best pitcher, relief pitcher in baseball, whatever the record was. And I remember I talked to him on my show in Pittsburgh, and I said, "Why were you so good? Are you ready for this?" He said, "Because I was a carpenter in the offseason." And I'm looking and going, "Okay, you're a carpenter, and you're telling me it helped me." And he goes like this. He's moving his hand. He said, "All I did was hammer nails all winter." And he said, "Let me tell you what it did. After a couple of off seasons, it made my forearm so strong." He said, "My arm wouldn't get tired." Is that a great explanation?
Isn't that funny, though, that now if it was told that a pitcher in the offseason did something hammering nails and, what if he gets carpal tunnel? Now that's going to lead to Tommy John. Oh, he can't have hobbies outside of baseball. Don't pick up a hammer.
That's a great little bit, Jimmy. Yeah. And by the way, so he was old when he came back for some old timers day, and I got him on KDK and stuff like that. But Jimmy, for an old guy, his forearms were still huge. His right forearm. As a matter of fact, when he held his arms out, the difference between his right forearm and his left forearm was a huge difference. Obviously, he was a righty, but his right forearm was still really, really, really ripped. It had been really, really ripped for a 30-year-old. So it was incredible. But the training is so much better. Jimmy, do you agree with me? You don't remember the Mill Plums of the world and that kind of stuff. I can't imagine. Why would you? It's before your time, and it's not like, some of these guys are in the Hall of Fame and that kind of stuff. But I think the quarterbacking today is so much better. The coaching in college is so much better. The coaching in the pros is so much better. The offenses are so much better. Guys train when they're 70 years old to be a quarterback. They weren't doing it back then the way they is now. So I think this is a golden era of quarterbacks, and I don't think it's talked about enough. You agree?
Yeah, and I think this era was ushered in by the Brady, Breeze, Roethlisberger, both the Mannings, that generation of quarterbacks that came in like early 2010s. That was around Matt Ryan was in there, Andrew Luck for a few years. And now you have this next phase of the quarterbacks because those guys were way more advanced than even the Steve Youngs of the 90s, the next wave of quarterbacks. So this wave that we have now is definitely the most special, I think, talent-wise.
Yeah, I don't think it's close. So, one, I love Cam Ward. As a matter of fact, I liked him at Washington State. And it was kind of funny. He kind of needed that extra year before his stock to go up. I thought he was ready to play in the NFL a couple of years ago. NFL didn't. And actually, it probably helped him because he got more snaps and more snaps and more snaps. And I think he's a special quarterback and he's a special person. Now, listen to his words. I don't like this. I love this when it talks about being focused, when it talks about keeping your group tight, when it comes to not having distractions, when it comes to just wanting to succeed and living in the moment. This is the rookie quarterback for the Titans, Cam Ward.
Phone on D&D, wake up, watch film. I talk to 5 people a day, so besides my teammates, so I only talk to the parents and then that's really it. So I just be chilling, go home, and I don't really do too much, eat and go to sleep. And I think the biggest thing was just, whether you're college or NFL, you just gotta have a routine. I've had a routine for a couple of years now, and it's been helping me since.
Jimmy, I love that. That's as good as Pete. I should say Shia's Pete, since I finally got it right. Didn't I get that right?
Yeah, you got it again.
Maybe it's ingrained in my soul. Is that a great soundbite?
Yeah, and that goes off of what he said earlier this week about why he's the first one at the facility. He said, if I could watch my dad wake up every day to go to a job he hates at 4:30 a.m., why can't I go and wake up at 4:30 a.m. for a job that I love? And that perspective putter is, I mean, it doesn't get better than that. For him to be at this age and be that wise, like you said, you can tell he was raised properly.
And observed his parents and learned from his parents and has decided to take it to another level. And I would bet anything, and I don't know this, maybe you do. I've read a bunch of stuff on Cam, but we all read different stuff. I bet his parents either told him or he learned from watching, talking about find something you love. That's what I told my kids. Find something you love. I got lucky. I knew what I wanted to do at an early age. Was this perfect? No. Was I lucky? Crazily lucky. I mean, you spend so much of your life in your job, find something you like to do, because there are too many people have to earn a living when they don't like to do. Yeah, if my dad can get up at 4:30 every day to support our family in a job he hates to do, I can get up 4:30 in the morning for a job that I love to do, just love to do. Matter of fact, we'll play the sound probably on Thursday. I don't think we'll have time tomorrow. But Bengals play Thursday. They're at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia, obviously. And there's a comment we'll play from Al Golden, the new defensive coordinator, how he talks about he's so excited when he gets up in the morning. He can't wait to get to the stadium. He told the fellas that. And, Al's been around forever and ever and ever and ever. And he's interesting. He's brought a different kind of spin to defense, kind of a no-nonsense, but he's good with people. And I think that they have taken to him. I don't think there's any question about it. But here he is at his age going, oh, my gosh, just look what I do. Look what I do. I love what I do. I can't wait every day to get to work. I can't wait. That's just a beautiful thing. So I got to tell you, if you're a Titan fan out there, and I know we have people in Nashville listen to the show, if you're a Titan fan, you have to be unbelievably excited. Should I say the obvious?
What's that?
Titans are better off with Cam Ward than they were Will Levis.
Yeah, it's starting to seem like that.
Yeah. And by the way, I think many of you have seen the picture of Will in his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got a hole in his shoulder.
Yeah, it looked rough.
Okay, I had 2 reconstructive shoulder surgeries. The second time, they had to put it together literally with wire. It's a long story I'm not going to get into now. And so I'm an expert on shoulders. My shoulder isn't right to this day. I do the rehab 30 years later to this day. I do. I'm going to do it this afternoon. Just that's the big thing. If you have a really bad injury and you have to go to PT and stuff like that, don't stop when the PT is over. You probably need to do it the rest of your life. I've seen too many people who have a problem. They go to PT and then they kind of go backwards because there's a reason why you have a weakness. Surgery can only do so much if you're lucky if they do it right, but you got to keep on working at it. That's just how I am. And so, Levis was probably going to be the backup. And Cam Ward is on a different level than Levis. Now, I hope Levis gets healthy, and I hope he can get back next year. And I could see him hanging around as a backup and maybe getting a shot as a starter, maybe somewhere else. We shall see. But Cam Ward is just a much, 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 much better quarterback. You think that ticks off people in Kentucky? I'm not ripping the kid. Actually, the fact that he went from Penn State to here and then in the NFL and all the money he's already made, and he's a good kid, he's got a great arm. I still think he has a lot to learn about how to throw the ball, where to throw the ball, looking stuff off. I think he's gotten better, but he hasn't gotten that much better, I don't think. And he's in the NFL. He belongs in the NFL, but he's not Cam Ward. You disagree with any of that?
No, and I think it's too early for the final verdict on Will Levis. Like how Sam Darnold was the laughing stock of NFL quarterback and draft busts for 3, 4, 5 years of his career, and look at him. He's doing fine. It took a little bit. Sometimes it's a change of scenery, and there you go.
Oh, do I think Levis could be like Sam Darnold? I do, by the way. Mm-hmm. I do. And Sam Darnold is a great example. And I'll give you one more. If Calzada has a good year, you could say the same thing there, too. There's a reason why he bounced around. But he's older. He's more mature. He's got a great attitude. He's like 230, 240 pounds. I've heard different things. Whatever I saw him the other day, he's a big kid. And so, yeah, Sam Darnold, Jimmy, is a great example. No, I'm not writing Levis off, but I think at this point, Cam Ward is way ahead of him. Yeah. Would it surprise me if Levis becomes a really good quarterback? No. Am I guaranteeing it? No. He's in the NFL, though. God bless, more power to him. Big thanks to Andy Furman. God bless you, Andy. Big thanks to Kendrick Haskins, Wave TV. God bless you, Andy Furman. You can listen to him Sunday mornings. He's on a couple hundred stations on Fox Sports, including 92.5 FM and 1300 AM. Thank you so much for listening. Brad Taylor coming up next. Matthew and Jimmy at 10. I'll be back at noon. Count your blessings. I do. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me and with us. We appreciate you tremendously.